All right, welcome everyone. This is a presentation on the Marin County Civilian Oversight Commission, how you can get involved and become a Civilian Oversight Commissioner. Before we get started today, just a few housekeeping items. If you wish to use captions or translation in Zoom, please select the More icon at the bottom of your screen. Then select Captions from the list that pops up. And from there, select Caption Language from the list and choose your preferred language. And it should look something like the graphic you're seeing at the bottom of the screen right now. Your presenters today, I'd like to introduce Ariel Espiritu Santo, Assistant County Executive here at the County of Marin. My name is Gary Besser. I'm a project manager in the Office of the County Executive. And we have a special guest today, Camme McElhiney from the National Association of Civilian Oversight of Law Enforcement, or NACOLE. So in today's presentation, we'll be talking to you about what is a Civilian Oversight Commission, how you, as a Marin County community member, can apply, what to expect as a commissioner, and finally, at the end, we'd like to answer your questions about the COC, the application process, or about county commissions in general. Okay, so what is the COC? To kind of kick us off here, I'm going to turn things over to Ariel.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your time. My name is Ariel Espiritu Santo. I'm one of the assistant county executives here with Marin County. And part of my role has been to help with the implementation of sheriff oversight in Marin County. So when we talk about that, a lot of it comes back to AB 1185, which was a law that went into place in 2021. And that authorized California counties to create their own civilian oversight bodies to investigate and monitor the activities of sheriff's offices. And Camme will talk a bit more about the path from where we went from AB 1185's adoption to today. But it all culminated in the end of last year in November. Our Board of Supervisors adopted an ordinance that officially established civilian oversight here in Marin. And we are looking at two different prongs to implement oversight. One is creating an Office of the Inspector General, which will be staffed within the Office of the County Executive. And the second, which is our focus for today, is to build a Civilian Oversight Commission made up of Marin residents appointed by the Board of Supervisors. We move. So Camme, I invite you to talk a little bit more about that process of how we got to where we are today.
Thank you, Ariel. So I had the privilege of being involved somewhat from the beginning of the county's process to implement oversight. I worked with, well, let me start with the county developed a working group late in 2022, a group of community members throughout Marin County that worked incredibly diligently to develop a set of recommendations. And they did that over about the course of about 7 months. So until about June of 2023, when they presented their recommendations. Not only did they work to create those recommendations, they learned a lot about civilian oversight and best practices along the way, and also did a tremendous amount of work towards getting additional community input into the process they were carrying out. They did that through surveys in several languages and things like focus groups, not only traditional focus groups, but also going out into the community and meeting people where they were to get their input and feelings about civilian oversight in Marin County. In February of 24, a drafted ordinance was presented to the community more broadly, and shortly thereafter, a legal process began called Meet and Confer, where affected parties, potentially affected parties of the ordinance, have the ability to look at it and provide input. Once that process was done, we got to see a finalized ordinance, and in October, as Ariel mentioned, the ordinance was adopted by the Board of Supervisors. I just want to emphasize before we move off the slide, it was a tremendous effort by a lot of different entities. Community members really led a lot of the effort for those first 7 months and beyond. The Office of the County Executive helped lead the process. And the Office of County Council was also very involved to make sure that what was happening met the standards of law. The Office of Equity was very involved at the beginning and throughout. And then NACOLE had the privilege of also working with the county and the community around Marin County and helping to make this happen.
Camme, could you just share a word or two about NACOLE, just for our audience?
Absolutely. So NACOLE is a national nonprofit that works on and mainly with those who do civilian oversight of law enforcement, whether it is of police, sheriff, jails, or prisons. We provide a lot of technical support and training to people who are already doing civilian oversight, but we also work with communities like Marin who are looking at implementing oversight that will not only be effective, but sustainable over time. So we have members all over the country and around the world, and have been around for the last 30 years doing the work. So we were very excited to continue that work in Marin.
Okay, so a little bit about what the Civilian Oversight Commission is. So as laid out by the ordinance passed by the Board of Supervisors last November, it's a 9-member commission, 5 members representing each of the 5 supervisorial districts in the county, and then 4 at-large members. So these are people that live within the county but can come from any supervisorial jurisdiction. There are some general requirements for being a commissioner in Marin County, that being you must be of 18 years of age, you must live within the county's borders, and we are seeking commissioners that represent the full diversity of residents within the county. Now Ariel is going to tell us a little bit more of some of the other qualifications for this commission specifically.
Thank you, Gary. So this is a big undertaking and a new initiative to create this oversight commission. And we feel very strongly that we want to have a wide variety of perspectives on this important commission. So I just want to take a minute to talk about some of the other qualifications of what we're looking for. So first of all, you can have whatever lived experience you have in an area that receives police services from the Marin County Sheriff. We're also looking for folks who may have lived experience in the justice system or professional experience in the justice system. And then other lived professional, volunteer, or civic experience in community organizing, investigations, public service, or any other related activities. The bottom line is no previous experience with government or county commissions is required. So if you have an interest in this type of work and wanting to give back to your community in this way, we really hope that you consider applying to this commission. Our hope is that we have a wide variety of folks that express their interest so that we can have a dynamic commission that is able to, as I said before, bring many different perspectives to the table.
Okay, thanks, Ariel. Now I'm going to go back to Camme. She's going to talk with us about some of the benefits of having a Civilian Oversight Commission in the county and the importance of being a commission member.
Thank you. So as someone who served on a civilian oversight commission in another city, and a long time ago, I will admit, one of the things that I think are really important for people who are venturing into this realm is to have ideas of the benefits of civilian oversight and of the work that they'll be doing. So I think it's important to note that civilian oversight is uniquely positioned to help build trust between law enforcement and the communities that they serve. By being made of community members, they have a unique qualification of being able to communicate back and forth between law enforcement and communities, and they're also are able to build better pathways of communication between law enforcement and communities. It also works well to build a collaborative environment so that community isn't working in one silo and law enforcement in another, that they're able to build bridges and work collaboratively when appropriate. It also allows for fair and consistent practices within law enforcement. It allows for monitoring of investigations in a way that those jurisdictions that don't have oversight might not be able to. And it also does things such as the fair and consistent application of discipline, looking at training practices, and it overall just improving law enforcement activities and services within a community. And finally, I'll just say that it also helps to develop policies and procedures, and along that, training practices that work better for law enforcement, and because of that, also help better serve the community. And then as far as the importance of commission members, I can't underline how important the commission is to the overall process. While there is a group of people who will be carrying out the day-to-day work of civilian oversight in the Inspector General's office, the commission members help to put the civilian in civilian oversight a little bit more. They help to provide the community perspective into the process. They're there to help also support the staff in their day-to-day work. They're around and able to provide fair and informed input. Gary alluded to the training that will be going on, and so there'll be a lot of information so that people aren't starting. Although they may not have any information about policing and civilian oversight when they start, the training is built so that they will when they start doing the work. Also, another really important part of the commission is to help build legitimacy of the oversight process in Marin. I mean, particularly since Marin is now venturing into this new territory, building the legitimacy of the process and the agency itself will be one of the first things, one of the first priorities of the civilian oversight entity. And then I think it's also important to just note that lived experience is incredibly important to the process of civilian oversight. Equally as important is understanding and participating in the process is really essential. Often we speak of it as everybody comes to civilian oversight with a perspective, but once you're there for the process itself to make sure that it is fair, transparent, and provides accountability when needed. So with that, I will turn it back over to you.
Okay, now Ariel is going to touch on an area specific to the Civilian Oversight Commission regarding law enforcement experience and being a commission member. Ariel?
Thank you. So we did want to call out one other set of qualifications that we call out for potential commissioners. So in terms of law enforcement experience, our ordinance states that no more than 2 of the commissioners can have any previous law enforcement experience. It also calls out that the commissioner cannot be a current or former law enforcement officer for the Marin County Sheriff's Office. You may have worked as a law enforcement officer, but not within the last 4 years. And then specifically, if you've worked for a law enforcement agency within Marin County, you cannot have done that for the last 8 years. So just to be extra clear on that, you can never have worked for the Marin County Sheriff's Office. However, if you've worked for another law enforcement agency within Marin County, the ordinance states that you cannot have done that for within the last 8 years.
Thank you, Ariel. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about the application process, and then after that, we're going to discuss a little bit of like what's it like to be a commissioner. So there's multiple ways to apply to the Civilian Oversight Commission. One being online. I'm going to post the direct address to the online application for this commission in the chat in just a moment. That can be found by visiting marincounty.gov and navigating your way to the county executive webpage where you see prominently displayed Civilian Sheriff's Oversight. Another way to do it would be to enter in your Google or your Bing bar Sheriff's Oversight application, Marin County. I've tested and verified that'll take you there within the top couple of hits. We do also have paper applications available in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. Those are available here at the Civic Center, the Marin County Civic Center, at the Clerk of the Board's office. That's 3501 Civic Center Drive, Suite 329, up on the third floor of the Civic Center. And we're working right now on getting paper copies of the application placed at other locations within the county with partner organizations that the community may regularly visit. And if you need any help with the application itself, our Clerk of the Board is who monitors commission applications and kind of administers that process. And so there's an email address there, commissions@marincounty.gov, where you can get actual technical support filling out the application. Next, we are going to talk about what to expect as a COC commissioner. You know, what is it like to be on a county commission, or specifically the COC? So what to expect, or about boards and commissions, excuse me. So some general information. So boards and commissions, they're the same thing, are created by local governments to represent the voice of the community. They provide guidance, advice, and information to help the Board of Supervisors make decisions. They work closely with county staff, with other community members, and other stakeholders like agencies, organizations, the courts, you name it, in order to gather and provide meaningful information to the public and to the Board of Supervisors. Finally, they conduct research. There is like a lot of reading that can sometimes be involved for a complicated subject. They interview subject matter experts. They interview members of the community, and they give written or verbal reports to the Board of Supervisors to help keep them informed. So that's a little bit generally about the daily tasks of any commission member. But what to expect specifically as a civilian outreach commission member, or excuse me, a civilian oversight commission member, is you would attend a comprehensive training program, which we're going to talk a little bit on the next slide. Some of the issues that Camme and Ariel brought up, they may have sounded, you know, even to me a little like, what does that mean? But there'll be an extensive training program to help prepare you with the world of police oversight and with law enforcement and whatnot. You'll learn about how to conduct and participate in public government meetings. There's this thing called the Brown Act about public access to government meetings, ethics and conduct, anti-bias training, anti-harassment training, etc. And then you'll be helping assist the Office of the County Executive conduct a recruitment for the Office of the Inspector General, which we talked about before. The commission will be providing input into that process. Commissioners will serve for the first round of appointments, will serve either a 3-year, a 2-year, or a 1-year term during their first round of appointments. That way it ensures that as commissioners cycle out so that new commissioners are selected, we'll never be left in a situation where there's no historical knowledge in the room. After that first round of appointments, all commissioners will serve 3-year terms, and no one individual may serve more than 2 terms on the same commission. The County of Marin does offer stipends for individuals who participate as commission members. The county has a stipend program that offers $50 per meeting. This includes subcommittee meetings, special events you're required to attend as a commissioner, and dedicated tasks assigned to you as a commission member, such as writing a report, conducting research or interviews, etc. Stipends are available to any commissioner who completes a very simple self-attestation form, which is available on the county website or from the clerk of the board's office at room 329 of the Civic Center. Registration for the stipend program and submission of hours for reimbursement can be done directly on the county website as well. Or all commissions are assigned what's called a staff liaison, and the Civilian Oversight Commission will have a staff liaison. And that person, a staff member of the county, can also help commission members fill out their reimbursement paperwork. So we try to make it super simple. Some of the training, the specific training that you can expect as a new Civilian Oversight Commission member includes how to conduct and participate in a public government meeting. We had said before that there's absolutely no reason that you need government experience in order to be a Civilian Oversight Commissioner. And as such, we'll be providing that training on how to run these commission meetings. We'll be providing implicit bias, anti-harassment, cultural competency, and trauma-informed approaches training, as well as restorative justice principles, anti-escalation techniques, behavioral health diversion plans. COC commissioners will also be receiving very specific training on Marin County Sheriff's operations and policy. This might include doing ride-alongs with deputies and visiting the jail. Trainings about policing practices, criminal justice systems, labor relations, as well as ethics training. This includes like things like conflicts of interest, Robert's Rules of Order, which if you haven't heard of that, it's a great old-timey way to make sure that a running is run well organized, and information about the Public Records Act. We did get a question in the chat from Steve that I'm going to address, or excuse me, I think maybe it was from Tara. Is this recording going to be translated? I am working on that right now, getting a Zoom translation recorded. So I can't make that guarantee right now, but I'm trying to, at very least, translate it into Spanish. Okay. Now Ariel is going to share with us a little, oh no, excuse me, this is me as well. We're going to talk a little bit about safety and your privacy as a Civilian Oversight Commissioner or as a member of any Marin County Commission. So something that's important to remember is that, you know, by joining a county board or commission, you know, you're joining a government body that is regulated by something called the Brown Act, which is a Public Records Act. So membership on board appointment commissions is a matter of public record. The public can look up the names of commissioners on the county webpage. Regular open meetings of county commissions are open for the public to attend. However, the county will not share commissioners' addresses, personal contact information, or other personal identifying information. Additionally, sections of the application to join the Civilian Oversight Commission, including those that speak to lived experience with the justice system, will not be publicly disclosed as part of the Public Record Act. Things like professional experience that an applicant may feel would make them well suited to be on the commission, that would be shared, but any personal information about lived experience will not be disclosed publicly. Additionally, the county has a zero tolerance policy for harassment, bullying, racism. This applies to all of our public meetings. Standing rules and bylaws, including safety standards and the conduct which could mean expulsion from a meeting, are actually going to be up to the commissioners working with county staff to develop those standards. So I think that kind of addresses a question we got in the chat about how that's handled. The county does have a broad zero tolerance policy, and then the commission bylaws established by the commissioners will explicitly lay out what the standards are. Did that answer the question? Okay. So how you can get more information, first and foremost, is the county website, and I am going to post this in the chat. This is a site where you can find information on all boards and commissions and just what's open, what's available, and what work the commissions are doing. The second website there is to learn more about civilian oversight in Marin County. It's a page dedicated to our activities and kind of an update of where we are. This site, the second bullet point there, which I'm going to share in the chat, also includes the online application for the Civilian Oversight Commission, as well as a Word document that you can just print out and fill out yourself if you're more comfortable doing that. Other questions or information, you can email commissions at marincounty.gov. This phone number, 415-473-7331, is the public line to the clerk of the board where you can ask questions about commission applications. And next up, I just want to highlight some other upcoming outreach events that we are working on. Our next Zoom info session, which will be very, very, very similar to the one that you're witnessing tonight, will be on Thursday, January 30th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And then we have a couple of, we have a couple of in-person sessions happening around the county. The first being at the Dance Palace, and I just realized I forgot to put dates on here. But the Dance Palace at 503 B Street in Point Reyes Station, that is going to be on January 24th from noon to 1:30. And the second is at the Marin City Community Services District. That's at 630 Drake Avenue in Marin City. And that is going to be on February 6th, again from noon to 1:30 at Marin City Community Service District's office. So with that, we've concluded our presentation. I'm going to go ahead and we'll answer questions that have either come in through the chat or that you have now. I see one here from Tara. Besides the CAO and supervisors, who else are reviewing the application, or what entities, unions, or offices will be reviewing prior to selection? I can give a little bit of general information, and then I might ask Ariel if she can provide some more context for us. So the initial review of all commission applications happens by the clerk of the board's office, and that's just a review for completeness and then eligibility. Like, did you give your address as living in Oakland or something? You know, then there might be questions about your residency. The second round of review, I'm actually going to turn it over to Ariel to see if she can kind of clarify some of that for us.
Yeah, thank you for that. And Gary, thank you for walking through that presentation. So in terms of the application review, the way that it works for our boards and commissions is that it is the Board of Supervisors who chooses and appoints the members. We are as Gary said, the clerk of the board is the first to receive the applicants, and then ultimately the board of supervisors makes their appointments. Given that we don't know yet the volume of applications that we'll be receiving for this commission, the Office of County Executive, who also is privy to the applications, may be part of that review process, but ultimately it is the Board of Supervisors that makes the decisions. And those are, at this point, the only bodies that would be seeing the applications would be the clerk of the Board of Supervisors, and the Office of County Executive.
So I think one important thing to note there too is there are no bodies outside of that chain of the deputy clerk of the board, the county executive, and the board of supervisors that have access to the applications. And even with all of those steps, the board will be receiving all applications, as final decisions are up to them. We got a question from Steve. Will there be a session in the canal? We have had trouble getting one scheduled. I am in contact, thanks to Ariel, with San Rafael's Police Advisory and Accountability Commission, and I'm trying to set something up jointly with them. Just to kind of clarify, since it came up, it's important to remember that AB 1185 allows county governments to set up civilian oversight of sheriff's offices. So it's not countywide police oversight. And so we think that working together with the San Rafael Advisory and Accountability Commission might be a good way to inform that important community and make that distinction. And then another question from Steve: have we received any applications? We have. I don't honestly know if there's any commission ordinance that prevents us from sharing too much information. But yes, we have received quite a few applications already. Any other questions or comments from my colleagues? A comment from Steve: a lot of canal residents end up in jail, which is run by the county. You should definitely have a session there. We agree with you, Steve. Again, finding a time and location where we can be hosted has proven a challenge, but still actively working on that. Any other questions or comments? All right, well, I really appreciate everyone who turned out tonight. I'm going to go ahead and stop. I'm going to stop recording.